Sometimes I gotta get on with the thing. I gotta fly away on to bigger things, on to better days. You just fly away. Hello and welcome to a timeless general reading. If you're resonating with the title of the video, this is your reading, this is your message. I am starting to channel some things that I want to share perspective and reflection on, and then I might also see what comes through with like the tarot cards unrelated to this, if there's some actual messages, because I don't want to do a whole video talking about what I'm channeling. Basically, the first message that I'm getting is understanding where things are coming from. Where things are coming from in the media, where things are coming from in people's actions, decisions, and behaviors. And I'm also getting a focus on politicians. So if I'm not paying any attention to anyone in a room and I tell everyone what we're doing, I don't believe it, I don't know it, I don't see it if I'm not paying any attention to anyone in the room, because I'm not saying it to anyone. So I'm talking about people who read off a piece of paper in a very monotone voice, who clearly are promoting things that are not made as a decision that is theirs, okay? They're part of the decision, everything's a choice, yes, they're making the choice, but they're basically allowing someone to make the choices for them. And they're going, okay, this is what we're doing. So understanding where people are coming from is understanding who is able to connect, channel, focus, say what they mean, show up with transparency, and who is following an order, okay? So what's the difference between someone following an order and someone following their intuition who is embodied and grounded? The difference is one person doesn't actually consciously know what they're choosing, they're just going along with what they're told to do, which is what most political statements in the news and press releases are about. Messing with our minds all the time. Nice disguise. Okay, so well, that was a little channel message about politicians. I'm just talking about people who go, oh, I gotta like just read this thing that is what you want to hear or what you're told, but I actually don't really see into what it means or what it would equate to. I'm specifically saying this because I'm so sick of politicians, people in authority roles, making these choices and decisions and actions that are, look, they're like King of Swords energy. So it's like a judgment, it's a blame, it's a, this is what we're not doing, this is what we're doing, this is who we're not respecting and seeing, this is the idea that the people should have, the collective should have, so I'm going to tell people what's bad, I'm going to make funny jokes about things so that other people think that something's stupid, like intuitive people. Thank you, Australian politicians, for talking shit about people who are sensitive and who are tarot readers and who follow their intuition and who are in reality and actually help people with real life issues, help people deal with real life issues. And because we're intuitors, we have to be able to do what we say we can do because we don't have a piece of paper in front of us to read off. So if I'm an intuitive and I'm doing work, if you don't know what I do or how I help people, shh. Don't say shit in the media, because then people stop getting actual help from sensitive people. who have gifts and abilities and talents. And we end up with a world where everyone is now focused on people who simply blame minorities for issues rather than creating a resolution or opportunities that would equate to the solution. Okay? So next time you go blame your issues on immigrants, why don't you just address the issue? I don't think there's an issue with people changing countries when they're not safe or happy somewhere. Why would you stay there? Stupid. Do you think the whole world is just owned by people? Like, you don't look at the globe and think, oh, I'm a human and I live on Earth. I'm allowed to roam. I'm allowed to experience different parts of this planet. And why would you just keep blaming things on minorities or gay people or a race? Hate breeds friggin' hate, and then it just leads to conflict and wars, and there's no actual good experiences when that's where the collective focus is going. It needs to be more reciprocal. Two of Cups. Change. Wheel of Fortune. This could also be about like collective, like people seeing this now, people just being sick of back and forth opinions. We want options. We want choices to make. We want things that we can do. We want to know how we can bring about resources so we can live the life that we want. That doesn't seem to be the focus of most politicians. It's war. It's creating infrastructure, architecture, things that don't also seem to be so focused on the public. Like, we don't have cities in Australia where I feel like there's a ton of public spaces that are free or like cater to the community. We don't really have that. We have expensive high-rises and buildings and things going up for private use, business use, residential stuff, people to make money off, casinos, things like this. But we don't have, like, in modern society, places where we can go to join as a community without having to pay for entry or do anything, which I think should just be a general part of life. Like, we should bring back, like, I don't want to say like town hall, but the closest thing I can think of is like a town hall where it's like, oh, we have a collective place that we can meet up and do things, or put on events for entertainment so that people are fulfilled and have options of things to do. We don't have focus on like our quality of life anymore. The younger generations are dealing with being priced out of the property market, and there's just no solution. There's not more houses or options or anything that we're seeing. It's just blame. Different person to blame, different politician. And I just want to remind everyone about Hitler. Do you remember when Hitler was like, oh yeah, we'll just control the public and sway them to believe in World War II, persecuting the Jews by having a whole lot of propaganda. So I want to say Pauline Hanson right now is talking about getting rid of ABC and SBS, or restricting or not showing up for ABC, like getting rid of news outlets. So can I just remind you about Hitler and compare here? Propaganda is when you eliminate the other perspectives so that there is one thing for everyone to connect and follow. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing, and usually it's a bad thing. That's why World War II happened. Let me remind you of what Hitler looks like. Hitler looks like determinism at the cost of whoever, not really caring who we're coming up against, not caring about others, not understanding other people are an extension of us. So anytime you're coming up against yourself in the mirror universe, whether it be a different person, a different race, a different country, whatever, you're coming up against yourself, and you're going to be a match to determinism, people coming up against you. and it escalates and it escalates until wars happen and people die, and then we learn the lesson a little bit too late and it takes years and years and years to recover, or things get so bad that places can't recover. So I just felt like channeling some messages to remind you of what determinism looks like. Usually looks like hate, usually looks like putting the blame on a demographic of people, which you also see in other countries. Donald Trump is not a comedian. He shouldn't be shitting on people. He should be giving people options and hope and telling people things that actually benefit them to know. Not spending all your time shit talking, blaming. It is just ridiculous. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Channel coming back. Let's get into some other messages. So that's a collective little channel vent at the start of the reading. Also be careful with what you feed your focus into and what you choose in life, because it builds momentum. So when everyone just goes along with the status quo or what everyone's doing, you end up with choices that were made by other people. And then you might be living a reality that you don't want to live, and it's really frustrating because you could have willed something else. So consciously choose, even if other people are wanting to choose something that you don't want to choose. Be that one person with a different voice so that people can see a different perspective and maybe accommodate a new solution, even if it's not exactly what you're saying. Channel. Can we get some cards, please? Some people are realizing this. Some people are starting to realize that they can talk about these things. That there's power in maybe taking action or talking about things that weren't spoken of. Eight of Swords, this person, especially when it's in reverse, who basically had the blindfold on, had the throat blocked, hands are tied. Crows can resemble like all the voices or noises or distractions or memories. This person can be clear now. They're present, they're in the room. They're not reading off a prompter or a piece of paper. They're addressing what they're addressing. They don't need to be somewhere else or get the information from somewhere else. Or they're intuitive and they're consciously showing up and choosing and know what they're doing while also getting intuitive hits and perspectives from outside themselves. Power in that. Okay, so there could be people attuning with this reading because they want to go for experiences, they want to go for love. Lovers is out. King of Wands, Knight of Wands. Interesting. I think, yeah, so I was going to say King of Wands can be seen sometimes as like having universal backing. There's a lion watching this person from behind, and I'm actually seeing that as like a protective animal, not something that is a threat to this person. So, and there's Three of Cups, which is illustrating three women holding each other's back, essentially. So it's about having divine backing, could be about having support from a lover, in a path, I'm getting big yes, in your purpose now. It's like having steady support. Motorbike. There's some sort of like highlight about movement too. Could also be just like travel, journeying together. I feel weird trying to do like a love reading in the same message, so I'm probably going to do some other readings. I just wanted to channel. I think the first part was the main focus of the reading, just channeling what I was channeling. So you could also be attuning with this reading if you're going for connections, or you're thinking about contemplating making emotional offers, finding the people that support you, actually showing up in relationships and working out issues in relationships so you can have the relationships with people that you want, instead of just like coping with interactions that don't feel cohesive. So I will leave this timeless general reading here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. Until next time.